This is a mid-1980s Marantz SR640 AM/FM receiver. It puts out about 45 watts per channel and is in non-working condition. Cosmetically, it's okay. It's dirty, dusty. Definitely needs to be cleaned up. And there's no major damage to the chassis, which is good. So we will investigate and repair this receiver. So if this interests you, stay tuned. Alright, let's get into this old girl. Something solid state. For once, been doing a lot of tube radio stuff, so the solid state fans should be happy. So I have it plugged into our kilowatt meter, no dim bulb. Have some speakers hooked up to it. So there's our kilowatt meter in the corner there, so let's power it on. And I heard the relay click, speaker relay. Display not coming on. The LEDs come on, I don't know if you can see that. The LED comes, yeah, there you go. The LED comes on for a second. But these LEDs don't come on with the tuner. Make sure our tape monitor alright. Oh. No, it's not the speaker switch. So it's drawing a 1/2 amp, which at idle, I don't know, that seems maybe a little bit low. Definitely no sound. So there's definitely a power supply issue, at least with the controls. So let me get the camera repositioned. We'll open it up and see what's inside. Okay, I took the screws out off camera so as not to bore you people. So let's do the big reveal. Oh, all right. There we go. This is our innards. Boy, it's pretty dusty. Pretty dusty. I'm going to take this. Oh man, it's really dusty there. This would be our power supply board. I don't see any blown up puking capacitors. Huh. Yeah, man. Ooh, that's dusty. All right, let me take this outside and blow the dust out of here, and we'll investigate a little bit closer. Alrighty. I took it outside. It's not too bad of a day, kind of gloomy, but no wind, and blew the dust out of this thing, and man, it really was dusty. So brought it back in, and I got the schematics and whatnot for it, and I actually got a new thermal camera I decided to try out on it, and it revealed, I think, our problem. So this IC right here, I'll show you a close-up of it here. This one right here. And we'll put the thermal camera on. And let me power this up, and you will see what happens. So there, it's getting warmer. Right there. That bad boy is getting hot, diddy hot, hot, hot. And that's a 12-volt regulator. And I mean, I imagine those get warm, but this thing is just going, for lack of a better word, apeshit crazy with the heat. So I'm going to shut it off before we start a fire. So that is potentially our problem. Could be either the smoothing capacitor for that is shorted, or there's something else beyond the 12 volts. Let's look at the schematic real quick. Oop. So we have essentially three voltages to start out with, or 41.5, negative 41.5, and an 18.5. So I measured those, and the 41.5 minus and positive were both okay, but the 18.5 was at about 16 volts. So that goes into the regulator here and put out 12 volts. And when I measured that, it was putting out 4 volts. So like I said, either something, the 12 volt is powering, is drawing that down, or the regulator is bad. And when I measured from pin 1, the output, to pin 2, ground, it was 4.6 volts. So my guess is that it is the regulator that's bad. So ideally, to isolate that, we would disconnect it from its output here, and that's a ribbon cable. That would be kind of a pain to desolder. So I think I'm going to start with desoldering the regulator and see if the pins on that are shorted, and we'll go from there. Alright, just for giggles, I thought I would show my desoldering technique. Not that there's anything special, but some people enjoy it. So for something that is not a giant glob of solder, I like to use the desoldering wick, and I'll try to do this on camera without oh, this isn't going to be that easy. Oh, maybe. That worked pretty good. So we'll see if our tabs are loose or if we have to bump them again. Yeah. So once I get most of the solder off, I just heat it and bend them up. There we go. We can do this without cutting a trace. There we go. All right. So top one's loose, bottom one's loose. I got to bump that second one, but you get the idea. You just want to do it very carefully. Don't overheat it, and lift your solder traces. So we'll get that out and we'll test it. All right, we have some progress, some good news and bad news. So I took the regulator out and tested it. Tests good. It was kind of weak. I had to desolder the stupid heat sink. Some Herculean dude tightened this screw down so tight I couldn't get it out.
Righty, tighty. That's not coming off.
So I put a hex screw there so you can get in there and tighten it because it's in a tight space there. So anyway, I decided to feed this where this red one is. That's 12 volts going into it to, I assume, the logic board and all this other stuff for the display. And with my power supply, the 12 volts dropped down to 4 volts like it was before. And I got my thermal camera and I was looking around to see what got hot. Then all of a sudden it jumped up to 12 volts, and now our let's see if we can see the LEDs come on now, but there's no display and the tuner doesn't output. So using my DC voltage injection, we burned through whatever was faulty in there. I'm not sure if that's good or bad for finding the fault, but yeah, I'm gonna have to trace where that 12 volt goes, and I was hoping it just took out something in the display, but since the tuner doesn't work, that 12 volts supplies something in there, obviously. So yeah, that's So I'm going to have to do some investigating, and I'll let you know what I find. Alrighty, we have some good news to report. So we got the 12 volts that comes out of our voltage regulator and goes into this mess. So I figured that was as good a starting point as any to start measuring some voltages. So on these transistors and whatnot, I was measuring voltages and things were kind of close. It doesn't say on the schematic, you know, if the tuner should be selected or the tape player or whatever. So I figure anything close would be good. But anyway, I got all the way through this until I got to here, where these Zener diodes are. And I'm like, those can go bad. So there's a minus 21 volt supply that comes from our minus 41 volt supply that I showed earlier. And on the other side of this Zener, it should be, I think it's minus 17 volts or something, and it was minus 0.1 volt. So that's a pretty big discrepancy there. So I followed, so the supply comes in, goes to here, then it goes here, up and out to a ribbon connector. And I'll show you where that goes. So then it loops around, and ends up at our display IC. So it comes in, loops around, come down here, and goes into our display IC. So I unplugged that ribbon cable and powered on our Marantz, and now we have a display. So the display isn't right. It shows all 8s and everything's lit up, but I think I've narrowed down our issue to this area, either something on the display or that IC, or possibly where this comes in, there's a capacitor here, which is kind of buried. I have to find that. Well, it'd be nice if that cap was just bad and shorted. So I'll do a little more investigating and report back. Okay. What a major pain in the ass to take all this apart. Holy Toledo. But I think good news. So our capacitor is right behind this screen here, and I'll show on the close-up camera. And I'll show you what it tests here. A resistor, 0.035, pretty much a dead short. So that would explain why our minus 21 volt rail was not working. So for some stupid reason behind this capacitor, there's just a board with 2 pins soldered on there. So this thing is mounted sideways. I might just bend these little tabs up and solder the cap in instead of trying to remove that board on the back. So I'll replace that cap and we'll fire it up and see what happens. Alright, just to show, this is where I clipped the 2 leads off the capacitor there. There's this stupid board back here, and it goes up, and it's, I don't know if it's like shielding for that display, but the terminals to solder them are back up under here. So I'm going to try just soldering to these 2 pins on there, and that'll save taking that backer board off, because you got to pry these boards apart. So I don't want to damage anything, so I'll try the easy way. Alrighty, it's all cobbled together. Anyone want to take a bet to see if it works? I don't know. I don't want to jinx it, but it's usually just one thing, but let's see. That's a good sign. Our display is on. Huh. What the heck is the tuning button? Tune. Oh. Oh, this is tune. Oh, good grief. All right. I'll try and find a station. All right. We got no audio, so there must be another problem, but the display is fixed, so let me put this back together somewhat. Okay, a few updates. I decided not to put the front cover back together just in case there's something in there that's screwy that needs to be worked on, so I just got some zip ties and whatnot holding everything together. So, and one good thing I figured out, I had hooked up a little MP3 player to the auxiliary before and I couldn't get any sound out, but I always forget that thing when you turn it on defaults the volume all the way at 0. So let's see. All right, so you can see the amp works. So that's good. That's real good. Our problem is in the AM/FM section. So that narrows it down quite a bit, thankfully. So what else? I did replace the 12-volt voltage regulator. The one that was in there was a half amp. The only one I had was a 1 amp one, so not take a chance that that one goes bad. Another thing I wanted to mention, when I had that out and I did my 12-volt injection, at least with my power supply I can current limit it, and I usually have it down pretty low, but something else I worked on, I had it turned all the way up so it was able to draw almost an amp, and that burned out whatever else is wrong in that 12-volt rail, which in theory will make it more difficult to find, because if it was just getting hot we could use our thermal camera to find it. So, and the display repair was one of at least 2 problems that we found kind of by accident chasing that 12-volt rail. Found that negative voltage rail. What was it, minus 21 or whatever? So there's at least 2 problems with this, but it's getting better. We're slowly getting it back to working order, so we need to do some investigating on that 12-volt rail. So I'll look into it and we'll be back. Alrighty. Good news again, I think. I found a problem. I don't know if it's the problem. So our 12-volt comes into the AM/FM board. Yeah. And it goes to these 2 sets of transistors. So I measured this resistor. It measured 15 ohms. This resistor was bouncing around. I couldn't get a good measurement on it. And since that other one measured I suspected this RF151 here. So I'll show you that on the board. So it's this one here. Now in real life, that resistor looks burned. It doesn't really show it that good on the camera. There's like a charged spot here, and there's a white spot here. So that resistor got hot, and there should be let's see, 12 volts on this side of it and 11 volts on that side, and we got 0 volts coming out of it. So I don't think it's because of a faulty resistor. There's something else in there probably that caused that current draw on that to heat it up and burn it. So I'll just show you on the radio here, the stereo, that our voltage. So, all right. Where is that? I think on the top. Oop. Okay, the bottom. Whoops. What's going on here? Oh, I'm on the wrong resistor, sorry. This one. So we got 12 volts going in. Should have 11 volts going out. We got nothing. And that other one, RF150, 12 volts going in and 11 volts coming out. So yes, that resistor is bad, but something else in here is likely, maybe capacitor or transistor, I don't know, but I'm gonna have to look around and see what's going on, because I'm sure replacing that resistor, it's gonna get hot again. So let me do some further investigating. Alrighty, I think I found the cause of the short. So as I said, our voltage comes in here, goes through that burned resistor, up, over, down here to this capacitor, C151. And C151 is not measuring anything with our capacitance meter, and that's that bad boy there. So I'll just show you real quick. If I can get in here. Doesn't measure anything. I measured all the other capacitors in there, and some are close, some are out of spec, but at least they're capacitizing. So we'll pull C151 and test it and see what we got. All right, here's our capacitor. Now, how about that? Another dead short cap. So, that's one thing you got to be careful of. You find a burned resistor and think, oh, well, I'll just replace that resistor and we'll be good to go. But I mean, sometimes resistors fail just to fail, like if they're a high wattage one or in an area that they're under wattage rated or something. So we'll replace that resistor, that one capacitor, power it up real quickly, and monitor our 12 volt to make sure we're not burning anything else up. So let me get that ready. We'll be back. Alrighty. We got our cap replaced here. Let's see. That one there. Let me point it out a little better. That one there. And I just have a 15 ohm resistor tacked in there. When I looked up the specs, I was pretty sure it was a quarter watt. The F, it's a RF151. I was thinking radio frequency for some dumbass reason. Sometimes they mark the boards in strange ways, but that's resistor fusible. So that's a fusible 15 ohm resistor. So, and I looked on Mouser and DigiKey, and the smallest wattage I could find was a half watt. So that should be good enough to replace it with. So I have to order one of those. So it's time to power it up. We'll monitor our voltage. On the other side, it should be around 11 volts. So we'll see what we got. Well, what do you know? So that fixed it. And now we have 10.8 volts, close enough to 11 volts. So, I'll be damned. So overall, it was 2 bad capacitors that were completely shorted. And when that happens, that does bad things. I don't know if those caps were back in the 80s, they had that bad batch of caps being made. I don't know if that's part of it, but I guess if you were going to make this a daily driver, you would completely recap it. We're just interested in fixing it. So, yeah, that was a good repair. So I'll get it back together, and we'll be back. Alrighty, we got it all put back together. Works good.
Got it this time. There's no flag, and the pig's gonna...
So, yeah, getting that front deal back on was even more of a pain in the ass to put it on than take it off. But nevertheless, we got it back together. I got it cleaned up. There was some adhesive on the top, and the old grain alcohol was great for cleaning off ink and adhesives and stuff like that. That's why I keep it around. And if you have a bad day, you can always take a snort. So in the end, it was just a couple bad caps and a burned resistor. The resistor burned, obviously, because the cap shorted. So if you take your time, follow the schematics, and just be diligent, it's really not that difficult to fix these things. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.